He's tackled desert marathons and even made it to the Everest base camp. But Spencer Matthews' latest challenge was his toughest yet.
Having run over 170 kilometres in 24 hours, he incorporated all his worthy charities along the way.
Yeah.
Spencer is here to tell us how it all went. It was an extraordinary challenge, that one, Spencer. What made you come up with it?
I have a new podcast called Untapped, and, and on that new show, which kind of explores human potential, and we have, hopefully entertaining and thought-provoking conversations around health and wellness and pushing yourself. I interviewed a guy called Kilian Jornet, who's considered by many to be, one of the best ultra athletes in the world, trail runner, but real incredible stamina, and does all kinds of amazing things with his mind. And on the show, he just casually dropped that over a 2-week period, he ran for 22 hours a day, every day.
For 2 weeks?
Yeah. And I was just like, what? And I kind of suddenly started looking at Strava and other athletes who are kind of far superior to me, and discovered that 24-hour running is a thing. Like, people do it. There are teams and all kinds of stuff. So I'd just never given it any thought, and I thought, I wonder if I could run for 24 hours. And I knew that the experience of doing it would be interesting to me.
Of course.
So yeah, planned it on the kind of Monday. I'd been wanting to do it since interviewing Kilian. Planned it on the Monday and did it on the Friday.
What sort of preparation do you have to do, though?
Monday to Friday, apparently.
Yeah.
It's not very long.
It was an interesting challenge in the sense that there was a lack of preparation and there were questions that were unanswered. And it was, I don't know, that I wouldn't suggest, by the way, tackling something like that with no preparation. But for someone like me who has, I was fortunate to become a world record holder last year. We planned that so specifically, meticulously, and took out kind of most risk. And it didn't diminish it, but it made it that much more achievable because, I put in the countless months of preparation and stuff. So the end result had less question marks around it. So with this 24-hour run, I wasn't really sure of completing it. There was a lot of questions around it. So for somebody like me, it was a fun battle with myself to see if it can be done. And I really enjoyed it. It was a big mental battle at times, but also quite a beautiful thing. I was really proud of it.
A beautiful thing, a mental battle. You know what he needs, don't you?
What does he need?
Some cup of soups.
Oh, yeah.
To keep him going.
Yes, so it was the
That's
cup of
what he
soups
needs.
that solved the dilemma halfway round. You were struggling.
My dear friend and coach and logistical head for the 30 Desert Marathons, a guy called Chris Taylor, a phenomenal athlete, and he said to me, if you can get some soup into you during the night, that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any soup with me. We had pizzas and burgers and stuff that were cold and being savaged by foxes during the night.
Savaged by
I know, like,
foxes.
literally, I would be on the one side of the track and I'd look over and there'd be a fox, like,
Eating your food.
In my food, and I'd be like, get that fox away! There was no one there, obviously, to kind of control the fox. And it was so annoying. But anyway, so I kind of went a bit hypothermic at one point.
Oh, no.
Which means that, you're cold from the inside out, basically, because I was wearing a big, thick hoodie at night, running on my own, in a bit of a world of my own.
And is that, sorry, Spence, is that because at that point you're just running around, you're not running fast enough to generate enough heat?
Yeah, no, so it was 0 degrees at night for a good kind of 6 or 7 hour period. And so I was wearing a hoodie and gloves, and I'd kind of bunched it all up. So I had this little tunnel vision, and I was running on my own, and the hoodie eventually became really wet because I was sweating.
Yes, of course.
And so it became this kind of big, wet, heavy thing. And at about 4 a.m., just after I'd cleared 100 kilometres, my body went into... Anyone who's been hypothermic will tell you it can be quite scary. It just went into this... it's sudden as well. This... and you can't control your temperature, and your body does everything it can to try and warm up. And I knew I had to get inside, so I got inside, got my wet hoodie off, but, all felt like quite a big effort. And there were some cuppa soups there, and I remember what Chris said to me, and I said, I need to get those cuppa soups into me. And I did, and it was honestly... It was
and
like
that's what solved it,
It was a game changer. Like the little croutons. I feel like I've really missed out on cuppa soups. I think I need to make it part of my routine.
And by the end, I mean, it gets tougher and tougher, and you've still got to get there, but you've got Vogue involved, you've got your little one involved as well.
Yeah, I mean, Vogue is just, obviously my best friend and mother of my kids.
You have a gorgeous family.
She's so... She kept saying, nobody's making you do this, so why are you doing it? And she was great. She brought Theodore, who's a really enthusiastic runner, actually.
There he is.
I ran with him this morning at his school.
Did you?
Yeah, no, he runs. Like, he does junior park run.
How old is he?
6.
Oh, wow.
He does junior park run. He does his school run club. We ran together this morning. I love running with him, actually. Obviously, he's not quite up to the kind of longer distance stuff, but it makes me feel really proud.
But was he not frustrated that you were running so slowly by the end?
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, what's going on? Come on.
He came at the very end when obviously I was kind of, just mustering together the energy to kind of keep moving, and he was like, "Why are you going so slowly?" And I was like, "I haven't stopped since you started running with me yesterday." And he kind of struggled with that. He didn't quite understand what I meant by the fact that I'd been running, for the full day.
Yeah.
But he's brilliant. He's a really, he's well, I struggle to call him a talented runner at his age, but he's certainly got the appetite for it.
It sounds like
he
he's got a
likes
lot
it.
of drive and a lot of ambition. I think it's interesting, because, Spencer, you've said recently that you want all of your kids to find their own way in life. You're not necessarily going to leave a load of legacy for them, inheritance and stuff. You want them to achieve off their own back.
Well, I think it's important to help your kids if you can, and give them a steer in life, obviously. As my dad has helped me, and my mum has helped me from time to time. But yeah, I think, trying to understand how to make your own way in life is really important. Feeling proud of yourself for your own achievements, not being given everything on a plate, I think is what I meant by that, is important for the development of the child. You need to try to earn your own way in life. That's not to say that, I wouldn't give my kids a helping hand.
Do you think, when you look back at your early life, late teenage years, your early 20s, when you went through a lot of turmoil and your Made in Chelsea all happened and you were drinking and stuff, that actually maybe you had experienced a little of being given too much at an early age and just sort of not necessarily finding your path?
I don't think those two things go hand in hand per se. I mean, I was a terrible drinker for a long period of time. My dad, I always remember looking back at kind of, wanting a larger allowance or whatever else. He was always, my dad was a car mechanic and has always been an incredibly hard worker, and, used to instill that in us on an incredibly regular basis, that, it's very important to earn your own way and help. But as I said, my dad and I have a wonderful relationship, and there's always been love, there. And he's helped me from time to time when I was growing up. Obviously, before I was able to go and build my own career, you need a bit of help from, not everybody gets that luxury, but I was helped a bit by my family, as I would hope to help my own kids. What I meant by the comment, I think, was that your kids need to feel proud of their own achievements and pushing themselves to achieve on their own is all I meant. But we'll be there loving them for as long as
you're
we're around.
undoubtedly setting an amazing example about pushing yourself.
Yeah.
You've got another big challenge that you're setting up for, which is 7 Ironman across 7 different continents.
Yeah, so it's 7. I think I have to call them full distance triathlons because Ironman's a brand. But yes, it's exactly the same thing as an Ironman. Same distances. It's a 3.8 kilometre swim, 180k bike, and a full marathon. And I aim to be the fastest person to achieve an Ironman distance triathlon on every continent. So seven back to back. So we're looking at kind of Rio, Miami, London, India, potentially Mumbai, Perth in Australia, Cape Town in South Africa, and then Antarctica. all in kind of one go, though.
Wow. And you're not a great swimmer, you said.
If I had to swim 3.8 kilometres today, there's a pretty good chance I'd drown.
Wow. So there's going to be a lot of work put into that part of it.
I'm going to have to learn how to swim. Yeah. But I think that's part of the interest as well. Picking up new stuff as you go along.
I mean, that's the magic of your podcast
Amazing.
as well. Spencer's podcast, Untapped. You can get it Mondays, wherever you get your podcasts. It's you and Jake. And it's all about finding that sort of untapped ability that you don't necessarily know you have yet.
Yeah, I think we're all capable of a lot more and doing really interesting things. And I think people are bound by boundaries getting in the way of stuff. I think boundaries are perceptions, and I think if you're the kind of person that's listening, going, I could never run a half marathon or I could never run a marathon, I'm here to tell you that's simply not true, right? And that part of the podcast is to try to inspire people to, not me, but our amazing guests, to try and inspire people to understand that they can do more and potentially push themselves a bit harder.
All for that.
Well, good luck with it.
Yes.
We wish you well. And send our love to Vogue too.
I will do.
Thank you very much
Great
for
to see
coming
you.
on the show.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.